Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review for your Sunday Newcastle United news. My name's Paul. Thank you so much for tuning in. As usual, before we get started, if you do like the video today, please give it the thumbs up so that we can stay up there in the YouTube search results so the fans like yourselves can find the channel in the future. And of course, if you are new and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload like this or one of our live shows. Right, let's get straight into the news. And of course, Marc Guehi has been very much in the news for Newcastle United over the last few days, with reports coming out that we've made an official approach for the player, but no transfer fee had really been agreed yet. And Fabrizio Romano has come out this morning and confirmed that. Basically, he said that Newcastle, he understands, have made an inquiry or to ask about the player's availability and if he'd be interested in a move to Newcastle United. However, there is no formal bid yet for the player. So the transfer fee hasn't even been agreed yet. So this is still very much in early developments, guys. But as we know, a transfer this big and this much money, it does take time to sort out. Contracts are huge when it comes to this. So we're going to have to be patient with this one. Now, of course, there is other reports this morning stating that Liverpool are interested in signing Guehi as well. So we may have to go with a battle with Liverpool for his signature. Now, Fabrizio Romano does think that the transfer fee will probably be around 60 to 65 million pounds. So it is an awful lot of money. But what a signing it would be for Newcastle United. It would be a real statement signing. Let's not forget that. Guehi is an England international, a very, very good player. But the price tag, I think, is making Newcastle United fans ask a few questions. You know, is there other centre-backs out there who are just as good, if not better, than Guehi for cheaper prices? Of course, Silva's out there, etc. There is some very good central defenders who probably would be available. But I think Newcastle United want to bring Guehi to the club. They want an England international in that back four. And, you know, the future... You know, we said this on the live shows. The future of Newcastle United in defence could be incredible. If you look at Livramento and Hall as full-backs, and the centre-backs of Botman, Lloyd Kelly, of course, who's just signed. And, of course, if we get Guehi, Dan Burns still there, of course. So, you know, there's an awful lot of experience and talent that would be in that back four. So it is very exciting, but this is not an easy deal, and Fabrizio Romano has stated that numerous times when he was talking about that this morning, that it is not an easy deal because of Liverpool's interest as well. But if you do scour around the media reports this morning, some people are actually suggesting that Liverpool aren't interested in Guehi, that they found the price tag a little bit too steep and they may look elsewhere for a centre-back. So it depends where you want to read, who you want to believe, but at the moment there is definitely smoke. Definitely there is definitely interest from Newcastle United, but at the moment the deal is very much in its early stages, so it's not going to happen very quickly, according to Romano. Now, that might not be the case. We may hear in a couple of days that a deal has been agreed. You just never know in football. But Romano, I know he's been wrong a few times in life, but he tends to have his ear very close to the ground and tends to know what's going on. So, you know, I agree with him in a way because I think this is a massive deal and it does take a lot of time to get deals like this done, especially when you're talking about that kind of money. But what do you think about Guehi? Do you think that's too much money, 60 to 65 million quid? Would you possibly look elsewhere for another centre-back? And if so, who would it be? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, one other story that is still going on to this day is Anthony Gordon to Liverpool. It doesn't seem to be going away. Now, the reports are that if Anthony Gordon does head off down back to Merseyside, Newcastle may turn their attention to Eze at Crystal Palace. So we may be going in for a double raid at Crystal Palace. I'm not sure if we could actually pull this deal off because apparently Eze has a £60 million release clause. So if Newcastle were to activate that, then, you know, we could get to speak to him very, very quickly. But again, it's an awful lot of money. And do we have that available? You know, because if you listen to the likes of Keith Downey, etc., another, you know, journalists, they believe that Newcastle United probably only have up to £100 million to spend. If they go for Eze and they go for Guehi, you're looking at 110, 120 million pounds. Do we have that available? I think at a stretch we possibly do. But, Crystal Palace, to lose Guehi and Eze so close to the season would be an absolute disaster for them. But these rumours about Anthony Gordon, they won't go away. I think we're just going to have to wait, guys, until the transfer window comes to a close and then all these rumours finally bugger off and disappear. Because at the moment, there is a lot of media stir regarding Anthony Gordon. Of course, he hasn't played yet this season for Newcastle because of his Euro Championships. He's been on holiday, and I think he'll take part in the Cellar Cup this weekend. I have no doubt about that. I think he'll play some part in one of the games, and then be ready for Southampton. But whether he's here or not, I'm not so sure. But, if you believe, again, media reports are saying that this deal is still possibly going to go ahead, that Liverpool are very much wanting Anthony Gordon to become their player in this summer's transfer window. But again, that would be a massive deal and would take time to sort out. Whether stuff's going on in the background, guys, we will not be privy to that. We don't know. Despite other people saying they know what's going on, nobody knows behind the scenes. What goes on behind the scenes, I should say, at Newcastle United. So they could be negotiating a new contract with Anthony Gordon. Anything could be going on. So we just have to wait and see. But to be honest, these rumours are going to kick around still until the window closes. They'll still be there. But what I am expecting this season is a very interesting transfer deadline day. I think Newcastle United will be involved in both players going out and in this time around. Certainly with the likes of Almiron, I think he's just got to go. I really think he's got to go. But we'll see what happens in that in due course. But Anthony Gordon to Liverpool and then Eze to Newcastle, that is what is being reported this morning. I genuinely cannot see that happening. But again, football is a strange game. Now, one man that has been very much praised by Eddie Howe, certainly in the build-up to the new season and pre-season, is Trevor Sanusi. Now, of course, he made his substitute appearance in the first game with around 11 minutes to go and stood out in that 11 minutes very, very quickly. And, of course, he came on at half-time in the second game, went off injured. Now, the worry is that is the same knee injury that he was kept out of the back end of last season in the academy games. So we hope it's not too serious. Nothing's been reported on that injury as yet, but we hope it's not too serious. But apparently he's really, really caught Eddie Howe's attention, and rightly so. If you look at the performance from Sanusi compared to some of the more experienced players that were on that pitch, and those more experienced players that were on the pitch who haven't done it last season either, it will give Eddie Howe a big boost because Sanusi gets the ball, he's very direct, he likes to run at defenders, and it's what gets Newcastle United fans bums off the seats. They love players like that. He's got the kind of build that he's got that low centre of gravity. He likes to spin off defenders and dribble as well. He's an exciting player and he's definitely caught the eye. And apparently Sanusi himself really wants to make a go to try and get around the first team squad this season. And I say good on him, and I say why not? It doesn't matter whether he's just 17 years of age. If he's good enough, get him in there. We've seen many teams across the Premier League have this debate many, many times about yes, he's young, he's raw, but he's got the skills. Get him in. Because Sanusi and Alfie Harrison are the two youngsters that are really standing out at the moment and could be around the first team this season. Now, one man that has been linked with Newcastle United many, many times over this summer and transfer windows before is Federico Chiesa from Juventus. Now, news has broken over the weekend that Chiesa has been told, and a handful of other players, that they are not in Juventus's plans for the current season. Manager Thiago Motta has had to make some very, very swift and stern decisions at the club because they need to raise some money to bring in new signings, and they feel like Chiesa and a handful of other players may be able to generate that kind of income so they can go out and purchase new players for the team. Now, transfer value-wise, it's been bounded around 20 to 25 million euros. Could well get Chiesa out of Juventus and to Newcastle United. There is other Premier League interest, of course, in Chiesa. Of course there would be. He's a fantastic player. Now, yes, we've done Chiesa a few times on transfer shows and certainly highlighted his injury record. But for 20 to 25 million euros, guys, I think this would be an absolute bargain. I really do. I think he's 26-year-old. He's still got bags of time left. And if we can keep him fit, I think he'd be an excellent addition to the right-hand side. We know that right-hand side needs drastic improvement. Now, especially after the Japanese trip. Yes, Murphy stood out in the first game. Wasn't great when he came on in the second game. However, Murphy is way ahead of Miguel Almiron, in my opinion, now for that first-team place. But we need class on that right-hand side. I'm not saying Murphy's not a good player. Of course he is. And he's a very, very adequate player for that right-hand side, but we need an elite player in front of him. And Chiesa, for me, would be a fabulous signing. 20 to 25 million euros. That is a really good price that wouldn't be too much of a risk. But again, is Chiesa the man that would excite you coming in on the right-hand side? Let me know in the comments, because I'm interested to know. But Chiesa, for me, the more I think about this deal, I think it's a really, really good deal for Newcastle United, 20 to 25 million euros. But, and it's a big but, there is a lot of other teams from not just England, but all over Europe interested in bringing Chiesa to the club. Now, finally, Lloyd Kelly made his debut for Newcastle United, of course, in Japan. And Eddie Howe was very, very pleased with him. He said he had a very, very good debut. He was very impressed with what he saw. And I think, as a Newcastle fan watching the game and commentating on it, I think that the three of us on the show at the time were very impressed with what we've seen from Lloyd Kelly. Started a little bit nervous, if you ask me, but grew into the half that he played, made some brilliant interceptions. He brought the ball out well, and he seems very, very confident, playing alongside his colleagues there and making sure that, he didn't do anything silly. He got rid of the ball when he had to, and he brought the ball out when he had to as well. So I'm really impressed with what I've seen from Lloyd Kelly, albeit 45 minutes. But, he's been brought in for a reason, guys. I don't think he'll start ahead of Fabian Schär, but whether he gets the nod ahead of Dan Burn, I don't know at the moment. But if Guehi comes in, and then when Botman's back, then we've got some real talent in that centre-back position. But it's all very exciting at the moment, as it normally is with the transfer window. There's been a lot of frustration, I think is the word so far this summer, from Newcastle United fans, but it is beginning to pick up again. We are linked with still top quality players. There's definitely been an approach for Guehi. Asula, that deal should actually happen. The young striker from Sheffield United, that is expected to go through within the next couple of days. So that's another one on board. And hopefully, in the build up to the Premier League season, I know there's still about 4 weeks left of the window, but the Premier League season starts 2 weeks yesterday. So we've got it, or 2 weeks Friday, whatever it may be. So it's very exciting. I would hope that Newcastle United can try and get a couple of signings in before the Cellar Cup this weekend, and that will enable them to sort of bed them in and give them a couple of opportunities to play before the season kicks off against Southampton, of course. But there you have it. That is the news so far today. Don't forget, we are back again at 7 o'clock, where we'll be taking a bigger look at Marc Guehi and what he could offer to the squad. We'll also bring you any other latest news from Newcastle United that breaks further on in the day. So don't forget, that'll be live at 7 o'clock tonight. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, like I said at the start, please do give it the thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload like this or a live show. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great Sunday afternoon, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.